Alrighty, folks, it is time for round two of Grand Prix Thraben, the inaugural Revolution Grand Prix for the Innistrad Witching Hour and Valir the Banished Isle season. This round we are up against Cool Beans on a horror of my own creation in some capacity, which is Jeskai Dark Horse Victory, a deck we have not seen in the format since this time last year. We'll go into Cool Beans' deck in just a moment, but before we begin, as always, links in the description below to all of your key resources for all things Revolution Custom Magic. If you want to give the format a shot, everything down there should help you out with diving into the field. Most importantly, the Revolution Custom Standard sections in the Custom Magic Discord server, which you can find linked in the description below, as well as the Intro to Revolution video by Time Spiraled on the Custom Cardboard channel. Hopefully that all helps you dive into the field. Now let's dive into what Cool Beans is up to. So this is a Dark Horse Victory deck. This is built around the namesake card Dark Horse Victory. 2 and double white for a sorcery that returns target permanent card with an activated ability from your graveyard to the battlefield. You may also activate its abilities this turn as though it had haste. This means that if you were to reanimate a big creature with a big activated ability, you could use it immediately. Though this deck is not really looking to bring back creatures. Rather, the namesake card is getting back giant colorless permanents with very powerful activated abilities. So the option that we already had in rotation prior to this month was Cosmic Lotus, a card that hadn't actually really seen much play, but is a very powerful artifact. 7 mana for a legendary artifact. When it enters, you gain 7 life, taps for 3 mana of any one color, and you can pay 3 and tap it to draw 3 cards. So really helps you launch ahead on mana. If you can Cosmic Lotus off of 4 mana with Dark Horse Victory, that puts you up to 7 mana the turn that you get this into play, 8 mana the turn you untap, gains you 7 life, gives you a draw engine for future turns, so if you start running out of gas, the Cosmic Lotus can dig you back out of that hole. And the 7 mana to 8 mana breakpoint, so you can go 4 mana up to 7, up to 8 on the next turn, allows you to also have access to the other Dark Horse Victory target just being fairly cast, which is the new Tesh Fragmented Founder. This is an 8 mana, 6 loyalty, colorless legendary planeswalker. When Tesh enters, you exile all double-faced non-land permanents. There are no double-faced permanents in this deck, so it does not self-sabotage in any capacity, but it could if you did choose to do so. There is a +2 to gain 3 life while dealing 3 to any target, so puts Tesh to 8 loyalty while gaining you some life and dealing damage to a creature or to the opponent. The -3 has each opponent discard 2 cards and you draw 2 cards. And then there's the -5. For each opponent, you choose up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls and gain control of those permanents. So this is often going to be either off of Dark Horse Victory, draw 2 cards and make the opponent discard 2 cards, or steal something the opponent controls, either way, while leaving a Planeswalker in play at the end of it all. It's a really, really powerful effect. So, how do we get Tesh in Cosmic Lotus into the graveyard? How is Cool Beans trying to assemble the Dark Horse Victory combo? Because obviously, if you want a Dark Horse Victory, one of these 2 colorless permanents back, you gotta get it in the graveyard. Well, sure enough, there's this funny enchantment called Shigane Manor Burns, 2 mana, it's a saga. The first chapter makes a tapped treasure token, so you have access to 4 mana on turn 3, which is the cost of Dark Horse Victory. And the second mode lets you discard a card to exile the top 2 cards of your library and play one of those cards this turn. Hey, turn 2, make a tapped treasure to have 4 mana on turn 3. Turn 3, discard a card. That perfectly sets up Dark Horse Victory. So sure enough, Shigane Manor Burns is really the glue that makes Dark Horse Victory work. This is the card that helps make this reanimation package functional in any capacity because this is just such a powerful engine card on top of being a combo enabler and something that helps accelerate you to the combo. It really is just this perfect coalescence of different things all working at the same time. So Shigane Manor Burns, really valuable, and it also allows this deck to play a longer game, get some real grind potential, can dig with that second mode, get some mana advantage with the first mode, and the final mode gets to just chip away at the opponent 2 damage every 3rd turn. The other primary way to set up the combo is Stargazing. 1 mana sorcery lets you scry and draw a card. If you cast it from your hand, you may discard a card to exile it, and after the current turn has ended, you can cast it again from exile. So, Stargazing lets you set up the reanimation target on turn 1. Shigani Manor Burns lets you set it up on turn 3, while setting you up to Dark Horse Victory on turn 3. Both of these cards do a very similar thing of giving you access to card selection while allowing you to tee up the Dark Horse Victory. There are 4 other cards in the deck that can help you discard one of your reanimation targets, though. There is a trio of Unstable Experimentations, the new sorcery from Innistrad Witching Hour, single blue, single red, to draw a card. Then you can either discard a card or surveil 1. If you discard a card, you deal 3 to any target. If you don't, you just surveil 1. So can either just use this as draw and surveil 1, or can use this as draw, discard a reanimation target, and bolt down either a permanent or just the opponent's face. Lets them set up the combo more reliably. There is also one additional Planeswalker in the main besides Tesh, which is Aldegar of Path Unwoven. 1 a blue and a red for a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. Can +1 to discard a card and then draw a card. If your hand is empty, you just draw a card. -2 to deal 3 to any target. And a 0 ability, if Aldegar has 6 or more loyalty counters on him, he becomes a 6/6 blue and red dragon creature with indestructible and flying. Still has all loyalty abilities, still has loyalty counters, just doesn't lose loyalty when he takes damage anymore, and is not something that can be attacked anymore. So essentially, this deck has 12 different ways to discard cards. All of those ways to discard cards are functional and valuable for a strategy like this. And they just so happen to also be good. Like, Stargazing's really good, Shigani Manor Burns is really good. I think Unstable Experimentation is pretty good. Aldegar is maybe the most questionable of these, but Aldegar still does some pretty good things. Still requires, some answers, still requires being checked, or else Aldegar does get to start to run away with the game if he is left unchecked. So all of these cards are good. And then otherwise, there's still a couple slots left in the deck. There's still 10 slots. There's still 14 slots. Just gets to play good Jeskai control things. Got a playset of Fateful Ascents here. 1 and a white, destroy a creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Its controller creates a chart token. This now gets to hit battles in addition, because all of our battles are now enchantments. 3 copies of Overrule Will as the counterspell of choice. We're playing it as well. It's a pretty good quench. Fills your graveyard for graveyard strategies, so that can be another way to set up Dark Horse Victory, though it's definitely the least reliable way to do so. 3 board wipes between 2 copies of Deafening Clarion, deal 3 to each creature or give your creatures lifelink, and 1 copy of Beyond Comprehension as a full board wipe, and can compensate players who lost 3 or more creatures by letting them surveil 2. And then, might have gotten nerfed, but Offset Daemon still does stabilize you pretty well. 4 mana 3/2, flying, lifelink, haste, can't block. And now when it enters, if it was cast, you make the subroutine, and it just sacrifices when it runs to rebuy an Offset Daemon from your graveyard to hand, rather than reanimating an Offset Daemon every time it runs without sacrificing. But that's fine. Like, this is still a pretty solid, pretty stable card. So, yeah, this is gonna be pretty strong. So this is basically just a Jeskai control deck that has a scam component to it. Dark Horse Victory, Cosmic Lotus, Tesh really does just tee up a scam angle to this otherwise solid Jeskai control style shell. One of the things that's also worth noting is that because it gets to play sort of this Jeskai control styled position, is that Shigani Manor Burns getting the mana advantage allows you to just potentially hard cast Cosmic Lotus or Tesh later on in the game. So it's not beyond the realm of reason that this deck can just play a fair, grindy game. I will say, we talked about the 3 counter spells here, but we also have a land base to talk about, and the first land we should talk about is that it's actually a 6 counter spell deck because there are 3 copies of Silent Lakefront. For folks unfamiliar, this is a land that enters and sacrifices immediately to get a basic plains or island onto play tapped, or you can channel it 1 double white, double blue to counter target spell and gain you 3 life. Just a pretty good effect. Uncounterable counterspell, effectively. Gets to keep stuff off the table, gets to keep important spells from resolving in the later turns of the game, and can pad the life total on top of the life gain from Offset Daemon and Cosmic Lotus. Otherwise, there are 4 more basic fetches in Primal Fissures. There's 2 of each basic land, got a perfect 2/2/2 split. And then for dual lands, there's a skew towards blue and red because those are the colors that let you loot things away a little more easily. There are 3 copies of Frostfire Geysers, and the only shock lands in the deck are 2 Misty Peaks. So 5 blue-red duels. There are 3 red-white duels in 3 Spiraling Canyons, and 2 blue-white duels in 2 Pools of Light. So that is the main deck overall. The one caution that I may have for my opponent is that they may struggle to get the double white consistently because of the skew towards blue and red in the mana base. But I do understand why there is that skew, because ultimately a lot of the more important early spells are blue or red. Unstable Experimentation in particular just really does not like you having planes in play. Stargazing can't really leverage planes or non-blue sources in general. Shigani Minor Burns really needs you to have early red. So I get why the white is the color being skewed away from for the most part. And there are the Silent Lakefronts that can go find those basic planes in a pinch anyways. But it is going to result in some potential mana inconsistencies. So if those come up, we'll try and leverage that to the best of our ability. But for the most part, we're just going to be trying to apply pressure, apply tempo through what our opponent's doing, and trying to keep Cool Beans from assembling Dark Horse Victory once that starts to come up. I have a rough idea of how I'm going to be sideboarding this. We'll talk about that sideboard and what our opponent might be sideboarding in after game 1. But for now, let's dive right in. Alrighty. We're diving in here. Lost the die roll again. Unfortunate. So we got a 3-lander here. It's not the most interactive hand, but Lunar Awe does kind of get to bully some of their creatures. Some of their threats in general. If they slip a Tesh into play and they go for a down tick, we just get to Lunar Awe that Tesh and deny its trigger. We also can go Primal Fissure on 1, go get an island, Thought Scour ourselves, turn 2 Frostfire Geysers, and then Geysers lets Glimmerveil Lake come into play untapped. Let's keep 7, I think. Strangle's going to be a little bit awkward, but if they go for an early Aldegar, that might be fine. They get an island. That's a Stargazing. Yup. Uh-oh. Is this just the perfect curve? We're about to see. They scry to the bottom. They do discard a Tesh. Uh-oh. We untap, we draw. Primal Fissure. Well, that's our 4th land for Collected Thoughts. Let's go ahead and Primal Fissure and pass. Passing here because I think if they decide to hold up a counterspell for Thought Scour, I'm okay with that. But we'll see. Opponent is thinking. Oh, they're going to go for Stargazing here. Okay, so they can't set up the turn 3. That does give us some more leeway. So they are going to decide what to get. They're going to scry to the bottom and draw again. They play Pool of Light and pass. We're going to go ahead and crack. Go find ourselves an island. Thought Scour ourselves. I assume that is good. Yeah, so we mill Island, Thought Scour. That is fine. We draw Temple of Origins. Okay. I think we're going to be playing this out then. Yeah, I think playing that out is better than the Primal Fissure or the Frostfire Geysers. It means we can't get the Glimmerveil Lake into play untapped on turn 3, but I think the Temple untapped early is maybe better. Maybe we do run out the Frostfire Geysers. No, I think the thing that comes in untapped guaranteed gets to stay in the hand longer. We untap, we draw another Frostfire Geysers. Whoa. Well. Temple of Origins. Annotation to blue-red. You know, when I kept the 3-lander, I did not expect to flood out like this, but it's fine. We can navigate. We did at least mill land out of our deck. Thought Scour maybe not the best thing to mill there in that context, but... Okay, it is an Aldegar of Path Unwoven. Gotta let that happen. Yep, they're going to +1 Aldegar, discard a card, then draw a card. Yeah, this is going to start getting to do some real work. Wait. I might be getting a judge. That is a little awkward. Give me just one moment. Alrighty, we are integrating a fix right now. It sounds like because there is no way to verify what card they drew on their end, Cockatrice just doesn't have a way to confirm what was drawn on Beans' side. The solve here is to have to do this the way that it's done in paper because undo last draw is not working. This allows Cool Beans has to preserve the cards that were scryed to the bottom and return the discarded card to hand. Then I select a card from their hand to shuffle away into their library. Then they put the 2 cards from the bottom of their deck back on the bottom of their deck to preserve the scry. Then they resolve the Aldegar ability as normal. So I get to select something from their hand to filter here. They have a Cosmic Lotus, Offset Daemon, Fateful Ascent, Beyond Comprehension. Okay. Fateful Ascent, Offset Daemon, Cosmic Lotus. I think the play here is get rid of the Offset Daemon. I think that is just the thing I'm most nervous about right now. It's the thing I was like holding Lunar up for and wanting to save Lunar off for rather than trying to like counter the Aldegar ability. Is because that way I could try an Offset Daemon, like bolt down an Offset Daemon before it makes the Overflow token, so that way they don't get to get back the Offset Daemon. So I think in this case, it's looking like Daemon is going to be the pick. So yeah, it sounds like the fix is I just get to effectively Thoughtseize them, which is kind of crazy. It is as the judge has decreed it. Sounds like the judge is also trying to file a thing with Cockatrice to see if we can get a failed to undo draw chat message to have to do this fix less often. But yeah. Offset Daemon into their library. Library shuffled. Card from play onto bottom. Card from play onto bottom. I'm going to hide their hand because I shouldn't know these things. There's already an unfair advantage by way of the Offset Daemon getting shipped out of their hand. So, yeah, they will now discard the Beyond Comprehension. Now they will draw. And now it is my turn. Yeah. Keeping the window closed. I wanted to unpause before we resolved all of that, just that way it was clear what was going on, rather than just being like, yeah, so anyways, now that the pause is done, here's what happened. I wanted to make sure that you all got to see how that played out. We'll see how things carry on from here. My opponent is by no means out of this. I don't have a lot of pressure right now, and I don't even have anything for them to burn that removal spell on, and I don't have a check for Aldegar either. So I will untap. I will draw an Overrule Will. Okay, that would have been nice for the Aldegar. That would have solved all of those problems. Let's go ahead and play I could play the Primal Fisher now, but I think I'd like to run out the Frostfire Geysers so I can try and play Glimmervale Lake next turn. So we'll play the Frostfire Geysers and pass. There is a window here for my opponent to go for Aldegar, Uptick, and find Dark Horse victory that way. Because they get the draw off of the Aldegar, they get the draw for turn here, and then they get the draw off of Aldegar this turn, because they had the draw last turn. So there are three unknown cards in their hand, plus, realistically, I shouldn't know anything else in their hand either. So there's things that get to change here based on how this all gets to go. They're going to uptick Aldegar. Let's see what happens here. They are choosing discard. They're going to discard Mountain. Could see untap the land, go right into Dark Horse victory. They are just going to pass. Interesting. That tells me they most likely didn't hit anything meaningful. I'm going to, I think, fire off the Lunar On now on Aldegar so I can strangle Aldegar and keep holding up Overrule Will rather than going for Collected Thoughts. Yeah, so let's Lunar Awe Aldegar here. If they want to counter this, they can counter this. There is a contention for, like, maybe I should have done this in response, but I think waiting to see if I get to counter their Dark Horse victory is just more important. So we untap, we draw Glimmervale Lake number 2. Let's go for Glimmervale Lake. And strangle the Aldegar. Alrighty. That is a 2-for-1, but... sorry, that is a 2-for-1 for them. That's a 1-for-2 on our end. But I do think we are a little more comfortable now overall. Yeah, so let's pass here. Primal Fissure tapped. And pass. All right, cool. We're not out of the woods yet, but things are feeling a little more stable. I'm going to play this Temple of Origins here. Set annotation to blue-red. And we will pass. I don't want to go for Collected Thoughts until I can hold 2 mana up for a counterspell. Opponent says draw go. Yeah, they are in a position to be favored in the draw go just because they have big, high-cost spells to play when they're in this position. I do not, but that does mean that I have spells I get to play multiples of over the course of a turn, whereas their big things that they're spending mana on are singular cards. So, like, if they want to play Cosmic Lotus with Counterspell Backup, they need 9 mana. If they want to play Tesh with Counterspell Backup, they need 10. If I want to play Threat plus Counterspell Backup, I need 6 mana at the most. So they play a basic Plains as land for turn. We draw Burn It All Down. Oh, I know what I'm pitching to a Stargazing later. I could go for Collected Thoughts here. I'm going to play Frostfire Geysers. If I go for Collected Thoughts here and they counter it, I'm going to just let it get countered. I think I would like to go for the Collected Thoughts. See if this eats a counterspell. They have the Silent Lakefront. Okay. Yeah, counter this, they gain 3. That's fine by me. Well, it seems like we're both kind of flooding out a little bit here. But Cosmic Lotus does get to try and free them. They're going to lead on Stargazing, so no Cosmic Lotus this turn. Would love to find a Stargazing of my own, get rid of this Burn It All Down. They discard an Unstable Experimentation and pass. We will untap and draw. Find a Stargazing. Let's go for a Stargazing of our own. View the top card of our library. It is a Meteoric Facade. Interesting. There's a temptation to take this. Put the Glimmervale Lake into my hand. Sorry, put the Glimmervale Lake into play. Discard Burn It All Down to exile the Stargazing. I can hold up Meteoric Facade, bolt something down, draw 2, discard a card. So if they manage to line up the Tesh, I could go for like Tesh. If they manage to line up the Tesh and they go for like down tick, I discard 2, they draw 2, I could Meteoric Facade kill the Tesh. I don't love it. I do not by any means love it. I think I do want to put this to the bottom. I think there are just better things I could draw. So let's draw Psionic Sage. All right. Let's discard the Burn It All Down. We will also now have a Can Cast from Exile. Let's go ahead and play Glimmervale Lake. The one thing of concern is if I go ahead and run out a Psionic Sage and they have Dark Horse Victory, they can pay for the Overrule Will, get Tesh, steal Psionic Sage. I think that is a risk I have to take. They do not have as amazing spells to flashback as I do. They got Stargazing, Unstable Experimentation. Experimentation's fine. I think Lunar Awe is a little bit better. Collected Thoughts is the big deal. Let's go for Psionic Sage. See if this just eats a counterspell. This is going to eat a counterspell. Alrighty. Alright, they're going to mill themselves. I will not pay. I'm not going to put shields down. Oh, god damn it. They drew again. Good lord. I even asked target for mill. This time I can undo draw. Okay, I think I know exactly what had happened with Aldegar then, which is that they drew the Beyond Comprehension off of Aldegar and discarded it. They said something in GP chat and spoilered it and asked me to not look at it. And given the issues they had, I'm assuming that that was the problem. Okay, they mill 2 Spiraling Canyons and a Stargazing. Is that all of their Spiraling Canyons? No, it's 2 Pool of Lights is what they have. So they have both of their Pool of Lights. They've milled 2 of their 3 Spiraling Canyons. Wow, we are both hitting a lot of lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they have 12. I've hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, they are going to Dark Horse Victory for Tesh. Well, the only thing I can do here, because they're likely going to choose to do the discard and draw, is I'm going to make them pay 6 for this. All right. I will mill Psionic Sage, Shigani Manor Burns, Stargazing. Wow, those were cards I really needed to draw here. Whoops. Undo draw. Whoops. I'm so used to Thought Scour, mill 2, draw a card. I put, yeah, Stargazing, Shigani Mana Burns, Sonic Sage. Those are some rough mills. They say you're fine, scuffed game. Yeah, this has been interesting. They're going to -3, so we will discard Primal Fissure. They're going to draw 2. We find an Unravel Thoughts. So one thing I'm thinking about is Stargazing could find me either Burn It All Down #2 or Strangle #2 or Lunar Awe #2. Any one of those is really good. Otherwise, it might be in my best interest to Unravel Thoughts, bounce, and counterspell something on their turn. Or if they just go for, like, Tesh, I probably just let it happen. I think we're going to lead on the Stargazing here. So Stargazing on the stack. Top card is Collected Thoughts. Interesting. Well, I guess now I can look for Collected Thoughts trying to clear Tesh. The downside is that doesn't let me hold up Unravel Thoughts. I think I've got to go for it. So top 6. Okay, we hit Lunar Awe. And we hit Frostfire Geysers, Rousing Path, Temple of Origin. So I think the plan here is going to be get Frostfire Geysers to hand, Lunar Awe free cast. I get to hold up Unravel Thoughts. Yeah, that's going to be the play. So we're going to put this to hand. Put Lunar Awe on the stack. Move Rest to bottom. Lunar Awe kill Tesh. And I'm just going to double check real quick. We untapped. I had no cards in hand. I drew the Unravel Thoughts. Then I Stargazing. Okay, I have not played a land yet this turn. Frostfire Geysers and pass. This has been weird. I look forward to having a real sideboard plan against this because I'm pretty sure I've identified what I want to do for sideboarding. I've got like 10 cards I want to board in. Just going to be a matter of figuring out what to take out. All right, they're paying 4. Dark Horse victory. Let's see if Unravel Thoughts gets to resolve. All right, we stopped the Dark Horse victory. That is a rousing path. And they still don't have the 7th land for Cosmic Glyphs. Oh, they do. They played the Frostfire Geysers here. I think it was this turn? Oh, no, they already had the Frostfire Geysers in play, I think. I just didn't even notice. Oh, no, they put the Frostfire Geysers into play afterwards. Okay. Yeah. All right, so they skied to the top and drew. We're just going to close this. We know they have Tesh. That's the important thing here. We untap. We draw Frostfire Geysers. Uh-oh. Let's cycle a Rousing Path. Okay, they say K. Shigani Manor burns. All right. How do you feel about SMB? They say K. Well, now we are just on a wing and a prayer. Oh, they are Fateful Assenting this now. Yup. Well, we get a chart token at least. So we get to dig past all of the good cards on top of our deck to go find a land. Yeah, and they did that on the end step, so I don't get to play the land I get off the chart. Okay, they're going to cast Cosmic Lotus here. Top of library, on stack until type land. Just want to confirm that they're good to let me do this. Top cards on stack until type land. Oh, good lord. Unravel Thoughts, Lunar Awe, Strangle, Shigani Manor Burns, Lunar Awe. Yep, so these all go to the bottom in a random order. Primal Fissure goes to hand. I gotta say K to Cosmic Lotus. Oof. Not a great spot to be in. They play Primal Fissure, tapped as land for turn. We're going to go ahead and untap and draw. Uh-oh. Wow. So they've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 8. That's 14 lands. We have 8 in play, 4 in bin. That's 12. We have 15 lands. My goodness. Unfortunate set of draws here. Man, we passed 5 non-land cards to go get this Primal Fissure, and then we draw land. That's rough. Well, let's play that Primal Fissure tapped. I do think that this is going to be curtains for us. They can now just freely hard cast a Tesh and still have counterspell backup. They're at 11 mana here. 4 cards in hand to our 2. Yeah, this is not a great spot to be in. We only have 1 more Psionic Sage we can draw as well. That's Tesh. I assume that's going to be -3 to discard 2, draw 2. Yep. Oh, how I would love to have Lunar Awe here, but unfortunately they know there's 2 in my graveyard and 2 in the bottom 5, so there is 0 reason for them to hold on to Tesh here. Yep. Yeah, I think this is pretty much over. They're at 30 life. They've got 3 mana open. Tesh is at 3. We untap, we upkeep. Crack Primal Fissure. View library. Go find a mountain, because we've got so many blue sources. Draw for turn. That is an Unravel Thoughts. I am tempted here. What if I Unravel Thoughts, bounce, draw, bounce the Cosmic Lotus? Because they could cash in Tesh, downtick -3, make me discard 2, and they draw 2 again, but that's annoying. I could bounce the Tesh here, at least. Make them spend 8 mana on him again. That might just be what I have to do. The thing I'm thinking about, though, is if I Unravel Thoughts, bounce Cosmic Lotus, I can Unravel Thoughts, bounce, draw. If I draw a creature, 1, 2, 3, then I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd have enough mana to either play Psionic Sage, cast Strangle, kill Tesh, or cast Dream Physician, animate Glimmervale Lake as Dream Physician, swing 3 at Tesh with the Glimmervale Lake. I think that is going to be what I do here. I'm going to bounce the Cosmic Lotus here. See if they float mana. I assume they float mana here. They say, okay. Okay, they don't float mana. We find the Psionic Sage. Okay. So we know 2 Lunar Alls are at the bottom. What did we pass? Let me double check something. So it was 2 Lunar Alls and a Strangle and a Shigani Manor Burns and an Unravel Thoughts. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just got to be Psionic Sage, play Strangle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Psionic Sage. Strangle Tesh. Whew. So we kill Tesh, but we're empty-handed to their 6 cards in hand, untapping and drawing a 7th. And they do just have the option of play Cosmic Lotus, go to 37. So we've got a hill to climb here. But that was a draw we really needed. It was that or Dream Physician. And if they can't check this, we have enough lands to animate both Glimmervale Lakes as Psionic Sages. So we just need the Sage to stick. That's 7 mana. That's the Cosmic Lotus. They gain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. Dark Horse Victory! Yup. They're going to -5 Tesh, steal the Psionic Sage, and that's going to be game. Yeah, I can't beat the Psionic Sage. Unfortunate. They found 3 Dark Horse Victories, 2 Teshes. There really isn't a whole lot I can do about that. So, let's talk about our opponent's sideboard here, and then we will talk about how we are going to be sideboarding. So, opponent has 2 more copies of Aldegar, 1 copy of Sylvia the Rewoven Oath, which I don't imagine comes in here, but it might be possible. 3 copies of Heliolace Spire, which can eat out our graveyard, make the Psionic Sages do a whole lot less. 3 copies of Siscall, which they might bring in to try and get a bit more draw power. 2 copies of Negate, which might also come in. 2 more copies of Beyond Comprehension, which could maybe come in, but I don't imagine is as important. And then 2 Deafening Clarions, which are definitely not very good in our matchup. So what I imagine they will board out most likely is I imagine they're going to go down their board wipes. Beyond Comprehension and the Deafening Clarions just don't do a whole lot. Beyond Comprehension is often just going to be a 1-for-1 removal spell, and Fateful Ascent is just far more efficient at doing so. I could see them going down these 3. They might also go down the Offset Daemons, which gives them room to go up the Siscalls, the Heliolace Spires, and maybe a Negate or 2. For our part, I know for a fact I want to play Flutter to shuffle away their graveyard in response to a Dark Horse Victory. I want to play Delias. They have a lot of draw power, and this bleeds them out really fast. Plus, their only blocker in their sideboard is Heliolace Spire, which has 1 power, so can't block Delias. I want to board in Dormant Monstrosity. Having more creatures seems really good in this matchup, especially as they board out creatures. And then having Golden Bloom of the Silenced seems really valuable because I want to have access to a way to just shut down Cosmic Lotus or shut down Tesh as needed. So that is what is getting boarded in. What's getting boarded out is going to be a little awkward because we're probably going to have to trim on instants and sorceries, which means I think we're going out on Collected Thoughts. Because I think we're definitely cutting Strangle. We're definitely cutting Burn It All Down. So that's 5 of those slots trimmed. And that's a lot of our 1-drops, which makes me think Collected Thoughts is a little awkward. It's not awful. Maybe we stay on 2 of them, just go down 1. Maybe we go down a Psionic Sage because we only have the cantrips left at 1. We also have Flutter, but Flutter's not really something we're looking to play on 1. Yeah, maybe it is just like the 3 Collected Thoughts, 1 Psionic Sage, and we go down a Lunar Awe. Lunar Awe is really good against Tesh, though. I think maybe we go down an Overrule Will just because they build up a lot of mana really fast. No, because that's also good against their like really fast starts. I think we go down Thought Scour. I think we want the selection off of Stargazing a little bit more than we want the sheer mill. We're down a Psionic Sage. We're expecting they will board in Helial Spire, so having ways to fill our graveyard isn't as important. I think we're going to rock it like this. Major sideboard changes, but we go up the Dormant Monstrosities for more draw power, Delias to have another threat, and then Flutter and Golden Bloom of the Silenced as interaction. Let's see how this works. We're going to be on the play game 2. Alrighty, we have a pretty sluggish hand here. Turn 1, Rousing Path. Turn 2, Primal Fisher. We can hold up Lunar Awe. Then we've got Unravel Thoughts, Psionic Sage. Not a lot of action here. I actually am debating mulliganing this just because this doesn't do a lot in the early turns, and I think we do want a little bit more momentum. Feels awkward to mull this because this is a nominally reasonable hand, but I think I need a little bit more going on. All right, that is another 4-lander with Psionic Sage, Dormant Monstrosity. I think I can make this work. I can bottom a Psionic Sage, lead on Meteoric Facade, go get an island, and then play Temple on 2 into Dormant Monstrosity. So ship 1 Sage to the bottom, keeping 6. Main 1, and I do want to lead on the Meteoric Facade because I think turns 3 and 4 having an untapped land is more important. So we're going to go Meteoric Facade, view library, go get an island, tapped, and pass. Opponent does the same, Silent Lakefront, goes gets an island tapped. Alrighty. Keeping it simple. We untap, we draw Glimmervale Lake. So we'll play Temple of Origins. We will set annotation to blue-red. And let's go for a Dormant Monstrosity. We're going to put 3 counters on this. Skip untapping and pass. And I'm going to fix which counters these are because I wanted the red counters, not the green counters. Alrighty. They play Primal Fisher, crack it. Mountain. This is an SMB? That's an SMB. Uh-oh. Would not mind a Flutter off the top here. We untap, take a counter off of Dormant Monstrosity. We draw Unravel Thoughts. Well, let's play a Frostfire Geysers and pass. So Shigani Mana Burns goes up to 2. They're thinking. The nice thing about Dormant Monstrosity is that we can just kind of play things safe here. This is going to get to draw us a card. Either this turn or next turn. If they discard, that means we're likely going to be burning Unravel Thoughts here. One of the nice things about this sideboard plan as well is that it allows us to... Wow, they exile Tesh and Fateful Ascent, discarding an Aldegar. So they could Fateful Ascent the Dormant Monstrosity here. But then we get to draw a card, functionally make them lose out on a resource here. And if they don't have an untapped white source, they have to burn the treasure to do so. They're thinking. Yeah, this Tesh is definitely gone, which is nice. That's 3 Teshes remaining. Makes me think they might have boarded in Aldegar. Wow, they're passing, missing a land drop, letting both of these go away. Interesting. So I assume they're waiting for Fateful Ascent to kill the Dormant Monstrosity in response to activation, so they can deny me from using the chart. But them missing a land drop here is very interesting. I think I'm fine with that. Card counters, remove a counter. They're going to respond. They are going to Fateful Ascent. Okay. So they're going to burn their treasure token and miss a land drop. So we get a chart token. This dies. Okay. So we draw Delias. That's not nothing. We untap. We draw Dormant Monstrosity number 2. Love to see it. Glimmervale Lake as land for turn. Dormant Monstrosity number 2. Skip untapping, and we can just flash out Delias at their end step. We miss out on 1 point of damage this way, but I think I would rather it dodge sorcery speed removal next turn. So we go to 3 counters here. This also makes it look like I'm just holding up the chart token. Or holding up a Dormant Monstrosity trigger. SMB hit me. Yeah, they got it. So they do have a Spiraling Canyon now. They found the land this turn. Now I guess we'll see if they have a second Aldegar. Tapping 2 for a Syscall. That makes me think I want to hold Delias and let them just draw a bunch of cards off of Syscall. They're going to put it on program C, it looks like. I think I do want to just get Delias in play, actually. Let's just get the momentum rolling. I could draw here with Dormant Monstrosity instead, then it untaps it untaps in 2 turns. If I, like, activate, draw. But I think Delias is the more high momentum play. Alrighty. This is also nice because it incidentally pressures Syscall here. We untap, counter off of Dormant Monstrosity. We draw for turn. That's another Unravel Thoughts. Let's move this here. Play Island. Combat, swing 2. And then we can hold up Unravel Thoughts plus Dormant Monstrosity activation or chart. Or we just hold up double Dormant Monstrosity draw. They untap. Yep, they got it. So Delias has at least dealt 3 damage to them. Shigani Mana Burns makes a tapped treasure. They are at program A. I think if Dormant Monstrosity does not get activated twice this turn, I'm not going to activate it at all. I'm going to crack the chart. If they give me a reason to Unravel Thought something, then I'm going to crack the chart at the end of turn rather than draw with Dormant Monstrosity, just because next turn it's going to lose one stun counter either way. Okay, now that they're going to end step, I'm going to attempt to draw with Dormant Monstrosity. Remove a counter. They have a response. 2 mana. Fateful Ascent. Here's what I'm going to do. They are going to overrule will this. Okay. So we burn an Unravel Thoughts to eat the overrule will here. So this gets countered. They mill Primal Fissure, Shigani Manor Burns, Dark Horse Victory. Dark Horse Victory is very good to see here. I make chart number 2. This goes away. And then I draw. Dream Physician, hello. We untap. We draw Delias number 2. All right. I think here we're going to go ahead and crack a chart before we do anything else. Top cards on stack until type land. Wow. Well, we reveal that we are on Flutter here. We go past 2 Lunar Awes as well. Ship these to the bottom. Rousing Path to hand. We're just going to go ahead and play the Rousing Path here. And swing 2. Alrighty. So they go to first main. Shigani Manor Burns offers the discard and draw again. Sorry, the discard and impulse. I imagine this is going to be where they try to set up a Dark Horse Victory. They're going to decline. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to force the issue here. Actually, they've got 2 cards in hand. If they counterspell this, I'm fine having Unravel Thoughts get countered here. Okay, they're gonna have to burn their treasure again. They're gonna overrule will again. This puts them down to 1 card in hand. They mill. They mill Frostfire Geyser, Shirkani Manor Burns, Primal Fissure. So they get the Aldegar. I imagine they -2 down to 1, kill Delias. And I could rush out Dream Physician. Yeah, they're going to kill Delias here. They're down to 1 card in hand, though. And that's 2 of their overrule wills. They've only got 3, so they've got 1 overrule will left, possibly 2 negates as well. Alrighty. We untap, we draw Flutter. So I think what's going to happen here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. We spend 2 on a chart token. We have 4 remaining. We spend 2 on Dream Physician. We have 2 remaining. If we get an untapped land, we have 3 mana up. I think that's going to be what we do here. Crack a chart. Top of library until, type land. We just go past a Thought Scour, find an untapped land. Ship this to the bottom. Play the Frostfire Geysers. Play out a Dream Physician. And we pass. So this threatens the Aldegar here. Shigani Manor Burns goes off. Syscall runs, so it can be activated this turn. If they activate Aldegar first to uptick, I will not respond. I will let Aldegar do its thing. They're going to pay 5 into Syscall, it looks like. Second Elias. Pranked, go to 10. And now we've got 5 damage. If we draw a burn spell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they activate Aldegar, they go to 9, and we've got lethal between Glimmervale Lake and Flutter. Because that's +1/+1. Lake copies Dream Physician. If they activate Aldegar, they're dead. Yeah, that's activating Aldegar. They go to 9. Silent Lakefront. And we've got lethal. Glimmervale Lake, copy Dream Physician, swing in, Flutter copy, Flutter buff something. Okay. And in fact, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. That's enough to not run out Sonic Sage and Glimmervale Lake, unfortunately. We untap. We draw Frostfire Geysers. Does that change the math? I don't think there's any reason to reveal too much here. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. Lake copies Dream Physician. Swing 8 at you. Flutter one of them, +1/+1. All right. Game 3 time. It's a pretty tense turnabout there, but yeah. Very happy with how Delias felt there, and Dormant Monstrosity. Eating those removal spells felt very nice. Not sure there's too much I want to change on the draw. I think the Strangles are still really awkward in this matchup. There's still just not enough that I want to target with a Strangle here. So yeah, we're going to keep it like this. Flutter's definitely awkward for protecting specifically Dream Physician, because if they target Dream Physician, the ward gets to go off and they can still make us sacrifice the Dream Physician. But just Flutter being able to make one of our things hexproof in the face of removal. Like, if I'd had the Flutter with Dormant Monstrosity, I would have considered it just for the sake of pushing 4. Opponent is going to be on the play. They're keeping 7. We've got Thought Scour, Unravel Thoughts, Lunar Awe, Golden Bloom of the Silence, Dream Physician, but only 2 lands. I mean, this is workable. We have everything in our hand is castable other than Unravel Thoughts. We can lead on Meteoric Facade for an island. I think that's probably what we got to do. Alrighty. They have an island into a Stargazing. That bodes well. Do they have any interaction for artifacts? Once an artifact's in play, how do they get rid of an artifact? Aldegar can't deal with it. Tesh would have to steal it. In their sideboard, they have no interaction for artifacts. Okay. If we can just stick Golden Bloom... Oh, wow. Hand too good for Stargazing. We untap. We draw Overrule Will. Counterspell's nice. Let's go get an island. They have Primal Fissure, and they just pass. Okay. We untap. We draw Flutter. That is good. Temple of Origins. Annotation to blue-red. We are not going to run out Golden Bloom here. We want to just kind of hold on to it, because they could be representing Overrule Will here. Nice thing about Flutter is not only does it get to play this Graveyard Hate roll, it can also refresh our library if need be. I was very happy to have correctly read that they boarded in Syscall there. That Syscall activation with the second Delias in hand was just so juicy. And it teed up the lethal, which is great. And if they'd activated Aldegar first, they would have been able to go to 1 there because I would not have flashed in Delias in the face of Aldegar. Okay, they're cracking Primal Fissure here. Frostfire Geysers. Paying 1 for Stargazing, it looks like. I am half considering Thought Scour here, even if they like go and stick in Shigani Manor Burns on the stack. I might just still let that happen and go for the Thought Scour to try and find a third land. They do scry to the bottom and draw. Is it once again a case of hands too good for Stargazing? They're thinking. Wow, Stargazing to the bin again. That's impressive. Pop out graveyards here. Oop. Asking if it's okay if I do something on end step. Alrighty. Attempt to Thought Scour myself. If they want to counter this, they can counter it. I mill Overrule Will, Shigani Manor Burns. I draw Temple of Origins number 2. And then I draw for turn, that's Dormant Monstrosity. Temple of Origins. Set annotation to blue-red. Could run out the Dormant Monstrosity here. But I think just holding up interaction is best. Because again, I want to find a window where they are tapped out to try and run out the Golden Bloom. There is a Spiraling Canyons. 4 mana. Offset Daemon. Here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to Unravel Thoughts this now, because it's going to be hard for me to have fewer cards in hand than them. But Overrule Will is a little more awkward in the later turns. Yeah. We're going to Unravel Thoughts that. Alrighty. We untap. We draw. We find an island. That's big. We play island. So now we can choose between Dormant Monstrosity or Lunar Awe here. Sorry, Dormant Monstrosity or Dream Physician here. I think we're going to go for the Monstrosity. Skip untapping. Card counters to 3. They have land number 5. Aldegar of Path Unwoven. That is going to be A-okay by me. I'm going to uptick Aldegar. He'll once again say K. They discard another Aldegar. So that confirms what I suspected last game, which is that they boarded in more Aldegars here. End step, I will attempt to draw. They say K. Just making sure it's not lagging. Okay, there we go. We find another Dream Physician. We untap, go down to 1 counter here. And we will draw for turn. It's another Dream Physician, but we are now missing out on land drops. Awkward. There is a consideration for Activate Dormant Monstrosity now just to try and get the 5th land. I think that's going to be the play. Do it at sorcery speed. Okay, we find the Frostfire Geysers. Perfect. All right, we pass. If they've got removal for the Dormant Monstrosity, I might just let it happen. Doesn't end up being the case. So that's Mountain. They're going to uptick Aldegar. They discard a Plains. I really thought this might be the turn they go to set up for the kill here. That is an Offset Daemon number 2. I think the correct play here is going to be to let that resolve and then Lunar Awe in response to Enter Trigger. Okay, they do have the Overrule Will here. They mill Cosmic Lotus, Shigani Manor Burns, Shigani Manor Burns. Alrighty. But they're down to 2 cards in hand. So we go to 17, they go to 23. We draw Frostfire Geysers number 2. I am tempted to just go swing for it Aldegar and then double Dream Physician Golden Bloom on the... No, because they get to rebuy Offset Daemon from Graveyard here. Do I go like 1 Dream Physician, Golden Bloom on Offset Daemon and just keep holding up the Flutter? I kind of just want to get the Dream Physicians into play, though. Frostfire Geysers. Yeah, the problem with holding up Overrule Will at this point is just that they are at 6 mana, so a lot of what they want to do for 4 mana is pretty accessible. There's no world where the play is Golden Bloom on Offset Daemon, right? It's definitely one Dream Physician, at least. See, the concern is they can just freely set up Tesh plus Dark Horse Victory at any time. I think it's going to be double Dream Physician and pass. Is there any world where it's triple Dream Physician? So if they have Dark Horse Victory, they can go DHV plus Counterspell Backup. If they get Cosmic Lotus, that's pretty rough for us, but that's not unbeatable. Man, I really am tempted to just run out Dream Physician number 3. I think if there's a chance they brought back in Beyond Comprehension, I don't want to play too much into it. So I think we're going to make that the play, and then if they Tesh next turn, what do they do that ruins me? They can make me discard 2 while they draw 2. I pitch Overrule Will, Dream Physician. I have Golden Bloom plus Flutter. Or they can -5 Tesh to try and steal Dormant Monstrosity. That's pretty rough. I think I've got to hold up the Flutter. So main one, they go to program A. They're going to sacrifice Overflow. Get back the Offset Daemon. If it was a, like, sacrifice it when you do, that'd be amazing. Because then I would probably Flutter in response here. I probably would have played the one Dream Physician and gone for Golden Bloom on Tesh plus hold up Flutter for the Overrule Will. Alrighty, they do have 4 cards in hand. We know it's an Offset Daemon. Okay, they go for Offset Daemon number 2. We could choose to just Overrule Will this. Force them to pay the 2 and tap out for this. They swing, take us to 11. We kill Aldegar. We get to Golden Bloom. Reset Offset Daemon. This is tricky. I think I do want to force the issue here. Just make him pay for it. Okay, they're going to pay for it. I mill Glimmervale Lake, Island, and Primal Fissure. Okay, at this point, I'm fine milling 3 lands. So they make a new Overflow token. I assume they're going to put it on 2 here? Yeah. So they would get it back next turn. They swing 6, go to 29, take me to... Okay, they discard a 3rd Offset Daemon. Wow. That's really good for them. That would make a lot of sense on why they're choosing to overflow here. Alrighty. We untap. We draw Shigani Manor Burns. So what we're going to do here is pay 2 mana for Golden Bloom of the Silenced on Offset Daemon now. Set annotation to Offset Daemon. We're going to send 1 Dream Physician at Aldegar and hold back with the remainder. Main 2, let's go for Shigani Manor Burns. We make a treasure. Counter goes to 1. And we hang out. I want to hold up the Flutter in case they somehow find a way to stumble into a kill. Yeah, so they're going to draw. They're going to use Overflow, get back Offset Daemon. Five cards to 2. This is definitely not the best place to be. Definitely a spot where I wish I still had my board wipes. Those would be very good against these Offset Daemons. But I think it's just too awkward in most cases. That looks like it's going to be... Wow, Beyond Comprehension. Wow. Okay, I get to Surveil too. Top 2 cards. We're just going to surveil both of these to the bin right now. And now I feel a little bit better about holding on to this Dream Physician as long as I have. Pretty good. That is a syscall. Uh-oh. Yeah, so they're going to be trying to draw a bunch next turn. There's Misty Peak. They're paying 2 life to Stargazing here. So we know the last card in their hand. We know they have an Offset Daemon. It's possible that the play here is they're going to scry 1, draw, put Offset Daemon in their graveyard here, just because it's a 3/2 vanilla for 4. So that last overflow token functionally just made their Stargazing discard free. If that is the case and I find the second Golden Bloom, the play may very well be get rid of this first Golden Bloom on Offset Daemon to go ahead and replace it with one on Tesh. Because Tesh is my biggest concern from there. They're going to scry to the top and draw. Debating if they want to keep the Offset Daemon, it looks like. Nope, they just get rid of the Offset Daemon. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and close their graveyard for now, because the Daemons are not currently recursive. We will untap, draw Glimmervale Lake, Shigani Manor Burns up to 2. I wonder if the play is pitch Dream Physician here. I think it might be. Well, no, we only have so many threats. If we pitch the Glimmervale Lake... I think we want Glimmervale Lake because it lets us apply more pressure. with only a single creature. I don't want to get rid of Flutter right now. It's going to be the Dream Physician. We're going to flip Shigani Manor Burns and Temple of Origins. Well, that's going to be SMB number 2. Counters 2-1. Oop, that is the wrong color counter. It is counter B. Getting used to the counters being labeled by letter instead of color. Debating if I want to run out the Glimmervale Lake here. I think the answer is yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, this means that they're going to get to Syscall here, but this is just something we're going to have to accept. They draw, tee up the Syscall. The nice thing about this line is that we get to set up this illusion of, you know, we go for Delias. If they burn a removal spell on Delias in response to the Syscall activation, we can Glimmervale Lake copy Delias and Legend Rule it, since it would die anyways, and still ding them for a bunch of damage. They're going to pay mana. They're going to pay 7 into Syscall. Yeah. I'm not actually going to be able to respond. I just wanted to put a bit of fear in them. Unfortunate I can't stop this, but yeah. That is Syscall getting to do its job here. Pool of Light untapped. As land for turn. They've got 7 cards in hand. That's going to be Stargazing. Peek at the top. Scry to the bottom. Draw 1. They've got plenty of stuff to discard here. Did they pitch the last Offset Daemon? If they pitch the last Offset Daemon, this Golden Bloom of the Silenced is useless, which is probably good on their part, but just means that if I find the second Golden Bloom, I am super free to just name Tesh and be pretty safe. Because they've got 1 more Aldegar, 2 more Shigani Manor Burns, and right now my manners are a little bit more swift at killing them. Well, actually, hold on. It deals 2 to me every other turn. If they have 1, every third turn, rather. If it deals 2 to me every third turn, then I'm on a, what, 36 turn clock? Not 36 turn, half of that. 18 turn clock. Okay, they bin the last Offset Daemon. Okay. So Golden Bloom of the Silenced officially dead. We are now clear to try and find the second one and put it on Tesh. We untap. Draw. Shigani Manor Burns. Card counters up to 2 and 3. Burn you. Card counters down to 0. I think with this SMB, I'm going to discard the Flutter. Rousing Path, Stargazing. Top of library. Top card is Psionic Sage. Okay. It's very weird that I'm debating on getting rid of this anyways. Because I could Thought Scour myself. I could Stargazing as well. But the concern is if I don't hit a way to protect the Psionic Sage in the face of a Tesh, then I don't think I can be safe to put it into play. I think I just got to go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Psionic Sage number 2. Eat the Stargazing. Top card is now Lunar Awe. All right. That insulates me from the one big concern here, right? Which is that they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They can go Tesh plus kill Psionic Sage. Or Tesh plus Steel Psionic, downtick Steel Psionic Sage. And Lunar Awe counters that. All right. And here's what we're going to do here. We're going to go for Frostfire Geysers for Stargazing. Make it look like we're really desperate. Top card is Unravel Thoughts. See, I don't think that's a real plan because I don't know if I really want to hold on to the counterspell here. See, the concern is if I grab Unravel Thoughts, I can't reasonably discard something to Stargazing, and I want to discard something to Stargazing to bait my opponent into going for Tesh next turn. Because if they go for Tesh next turn and I can Lunar Awe it, that buys me some real time. But if they've got multiple Teshes in hand, I don't know if that's actually a real plan. So maybe it is fine that I just let Unravel Thoughts fade away here. Or maybe it's fine that I let Stargazing fade away here. No, I think I need Stargazing in... I think it's fine that Stargazing goes to Graveyard, actually. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw that, put Stargazing in Graveyard, and pass. Because next turn, what we can do is Glimmervale Lake, copy the Psionic Sage, swing for 8. There is a Frostfire Geysers. They're paying 7 for a Cosmic Lotus, it looks like. What am I concerned about with that? So they've got 2 Overrule Wills left, potentially 2 Negates. I think I'd like to attempt to Unravel Thoughts this. Okay, they did board in the Negates. So that's Negate down. They get the Cosmic Lotus. They gain 7. They've got this mana to spare. So now they can go next turn, untapped land, Tesh with Silent Lakefront backup, which is really rough. Wow, they're going to deploy another Syscall. So they're going to have access to Syscall every every second and third turn. So next turn and the turn after, they'll have access to Syscall. Untap, draw an Overrule Will, uptick Shigai Manor Burns, card counters up by 1. They take the 3 card counters down to 0. We make a tapped treasure. I don't know why I'm struggling to find the treasure here. So if I had an untapped land, I could go hold up Overrule Will, attempt to Overrule Will Tesh in response. If they then fire off a Silent Lakefront, that's fine. And I can just Lunar Awe Tesh from there. It's really just deciding, do I care about Glimmervale Lake? Do I want a Stargazing plus Flutter? Or sorry, not Stargazing, plus Flutter. Stargazing plus Lunar Awe. Lunar Awe them down to... what? So take them down to 19? I mean, that creates a real clock. But I think I'm just going to Stargazing here with Psionic Sage and not swinging with the Glimmervale Lake. More Stargazings. Top card. It's Golden Bloom. Draw that. Main 2. Golden Bloom of the Silenced. Set annotation to Tesh Fragmented Founder. And I do believe they are now down to Aldegar or Bust. So we pass. Because I think the double SMB plus Psionic Sage kills them a little too fast for one of their SMBs to kill me. Plus I get to start going like start going like Psionic Sage, bounce Syscall plus draw. So I can bounce the Syscall that's about to go off. Drawing arbitrary amounts of cards is hard. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're going to pay some mana into drawing. That's 5. So thinking about the threats they have remaining, they might have a Sylvia the Rewoven Oath. They probably have a third Aldegar. They have 2 more Shigani Manor Burns. They've got a playset of Teshes that have yet to be seen. They're going to do 5. So they've got 6 mana up here. So that lets them hold up Beyond Comprehension plus Counterspell. I might genuinely, with the Glimmervale Lake, just mill them with the Thought Scour here. Because at this point, like, if I mill a Cosmic Lotus, that's whatever. If I mill a SMB, that's a hit on their clock. Certainly, if I get an opportunity to overrule will something here, I'm going to target them with the mill. And if not, I'm going to be discarding overrule will to Shigani Manor Burns here. All right, they're moving stuff around. I might just pitch the Lunar Awe, honestly. I don't know. No, because if they're sitting on Sylvia, I want to be able to check Sylvia. There's Spiraling Canyon, so they've got 7 mana. 1, 2. That's a Shigani Manor Burns. That is a problem, but that is a problem I can reset with Unravel Thoughts. I'd rather reset that than Syscall at this point. So they get a treasure. They've got 5 mana up, so they can't be representing Sylvia. We untap. We draw Psionic Sage number 2. So Shigani Manor Burns both uptick. We make a tapped treasure. Do I use SMB? I think I do. I think we're going to pitch the overrule will. Unravel Thoughts, Shigani Manor Burns. Hello! That looks pretty good to me. This could coax out a counterspell from them. They've got 5 mana up. One, two. Shigani Manor Burns on the stack. They say K. Counters up to 3. We make another treasure. So we could swing with Glimmervale Lake, Thought Scour them, Unravel Thoughts, bounce Shigani Manor Burns. Alrighty. Go to combat. Swing 8. I will target Unravel Thoughts with my... I can't target cards in my graveyard anymore. Target this with this. Target this with this. Alrighty. Gotta clarify that I need to make sure I'm good to cast this. Okay, they mill Primal Fisher, Primal Fisher. That's a little unfortunate. But we do draw Stargazing. Alright. Unravel Thoughts. Bounces Shigani Manor Burns. We find a Delias. Connect for 8. Slide this back here. Don't think I want to flash in Delias in the face of a big Sys call here. But I do think they're just in a really awful spot. I mean, they could find more Cosmic Lotuses. They could find more... they could find their... I'm trying to think of the name of the card. Dark Horse Victory. Why am I blanking on that? They could find their Dark Horse Victories and just gain a bunch of life over time. But I don't know if that's really a winning play. They're going to pay 3, 4. They're going to draw with Syscall with 9 cards in hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This has been quite a long game. They're going to draw 3. I will say okay to that. This mana right now is being held for Lunar Awe, targeting a certain Aldegar. Or Sylvia, depending. That's 1, 2. Fateful Ascent. That is Psionic Sage down. I make a chart token. We stay over here. Chart token is here. You're going to tap 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. for Aldgar of Path Unwoven. They discard Tesh to draw. I think I maybe wanted to flash out Delias there, but I kind of do want them to keep digging. They play Mountain. Did they play land this turn? No, they just immediately started drawing. So they've got one Spiraling Canyon left, one Pool of Light left. They've seen all of their Frostfire Geysers. Sorry, no, they've seen two. Shigani Manor burns here. I think we're going to say K. They make tapped treasure. I'm going to pay 1 and 2. Attempt to cast Delias here. Probably should have waited for them to go discard to hand size. That was something I thought to do, but it didn't vocalize it, so it just slipped out of my brain. So they're looking at this. They said, I'm messing this up pretty bad. Sure. All right. Just double checking. I've seen one Fateful Ascent out of the 4. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I can't respond after they discard to hand size. Alrighty. I untap. I draw Primal Fissure. We are going to uptick all of these. Set this one to 0 because they already took the damage for me. I will think on... So Shigani Manor Burns triggers. I will discard Primal Fissure to this one. I'm debating if I want to pitch Stargazing to the Shigani Manor Burns number 2. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, play Psionic Sage. Yeah, I think we're going to pitch Stargazing to Shigani Manor Burns here. Mountain and Dormant Monstrosity. All right, that's pretty easy here. I can pitch the I can play the Mountain off of SMB here. Unattach and play it as land for turn, which means I'm going to move this card to exile. I'm going to go ahead and move this card to exile now. Hello, game? It is not letting me do that. Uh-oh. Is there a server error? Oh, no! Oh, that is horribly timed. Awful. Let's try and reconnect as quickly as we can. Oh, we're back in. Alrighty. Okay, they're fine. All right, so played Mountain, lost. Where did the? I guess the second routing path is here. Just making sure I didn't wind up breaking any rules. Alrighty. So now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pay 1 and 2. Attempt to bolt down Aldegar. They're going to negate that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 1, 2, 3 for Psionic Sage. Or I could just burn another Lunar on Aldegar here. So I take them to 14. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's enough to play Psionic Sage, animate Glimmervale Lake, swing it. They can't stop me, but I could be playing into a Beyond Comprehension. All right. What do I do here? I think it might just be not care about Beyond Comprehension, go for the Psionic Sage. It's also possible that the play here is play Psionic Sage, Flutter while I can guarantee it. And then just swing Delias at Aldegar, so that way if Aldegar down ticks, I trade. Because at this point, they're at 14 cards in library. SMB... I don't know. Maybe it is just best that I be patient. They pitched one Silent Lakefront to hand size. They've got 2 more of those. They've got both negates used. 1 Overrule Will used. They've got 2 Overrule Wills left, 2 Silent Lakefronts. So it's 4 counter spells out of the remaining 20 cards they have. I think it is just best to go for the Psionic Sage line. So what we're going to do is we're going to Psionic Sage here. We're going to eat... no, we're going to eat... Oh, no. We already ate the Thought Scour. Yeah. We're going to eat the Stargazing. Top card. Lunar Awe. I'm cool to just draw that. Send Delias here. Send Glimmervale Lake at Aldegar. On this trigger, I'm going to cast Flutter, targeting myself. Shuffle 20 cards back into my library. Move Graveyard to top of library. Shuffle my Graveyard into my deck. That is all. So now they have to try and kill me specifically with Shigani Manor Burns, because that is the last Aldegar. The only other option they have is Sylvia the Rewoven Oath. This should have pinged them for them drawing for turn. Sylvia does give them an out, but I have the Lunar Oz to kill that. So it is just Shigani Manor Burns that they need to do. All right, Beyond Comprehension kills Psionic Sage and Delias. That means they are not progressing their game plan otherwise. They go to 9 on my turn. Untap. Draw Dream Physician. I'm just going to save some time, point these both here. Card counters up to 1, make a treasure. And then I'm just going to set both of these to 0. Play Dream Physician. They're going to counter this. Silent Lakefront, that's fine. They gain 3, up to 12. Debating if I want to just fire off Lunar Awe here. I think we're going to stay patient, because if they have Sylvia here, and if they flash Sylvia on end step, I'm going to want to Lunar Awe her then. How much loyalty does Sylvia have? She starts with 5, plus 2s to 7. Oh, good lord. SMB dings me for 2. They're going to use Cosmic Lotus to draw 3. Wow. Oh no, they're casting another Cosmic Lotus. Okay. So we are officially at the point of the game where they are going to be trying to use Cosmic Lotus to pad their life total. This is why I wasn't too pressed about trying to rush them down. Crack the chart. Can't imagine they respond to this. View top cards. Wait, no, not view top. It's top of library until type land. Primal Fissure to hand. Dream Physician to bottom of library. Untap. Draw. Glimmervale Lake. Main one. We're going to go ahead and card counters here. Make another tapped, 2 tapped treasures. Shigani Manor Burns here. We're going to go ahead and pitch that Primal Fissure, flip Overrule Will, Frostfire Geysers. I mean, we'll just play the Frostfire Geysers, I guess. We pass. We have more life than they have turns, I believe, because every 3 turns they deal 2 to us. But they have 12 cards. That would be dealing exactly 8. So they need to find Shigani Manor Burns quickly. And they only have 4 counterspells remaining. Only one of those is real, because the tax and counterspells don't really work against us. Treasure is tapped. I don't think it matters at this point, but worth to just point it out. We will untap. Draw Lunar Awe number 3. So card counters up to 2 on those, 3 here. Card counters down to 0. And then these. I will discard Glimmervale Lake to flip Dream Physician Thought Scour. I like... Oh, whoops. Nope. Bumped the space bar. This is still here. I think at this point, yeah, I just want to get rid of the Lunar Awe. We will just pitch Lunar Awe. Flip Delias Psionic Sage. That sounds pretty good to me. Let's lead on Thought Scour targeting you. We can move this card to exile. They mill Spiraling Canyon, Fateful Ascent. That's Fateful Ascent number 2. So we'd be losing out on Delias number 1, because there is another Delias in the deck. No, sorry, this would be our last Delias in deck right now. I think that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unattach and cast Psionic Sage. Move this card to exile. That is their last hard counter spell. Yeah. Doesn't quite matter, but this does get that countered. So there's their last hard counter spell. Alrighty. We're still not quite out of this, but... Nine cards left in their deck. Flutter did its job. We had the Graveyard Hate all game, and when they just never went for it, we were able to establish the one thing that shuts off their Graveyard Hate, and now we just need them to deck out here. We declined with Shigani Manor Burns. We untap. We draw Dormant Monstrosity. Card counters to this. And then set these to 0. We have a tapped treasure. Dormant Monstrosity. Skip untapping. Card counters to 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could just draw 3. So we pay 3, animate Glimmervale Lake, swing 4. That lets them remove the Glimmervale Lake, but I think I'm fine if they go for that, because then they can't remove the Dormant Monstrosity. But I think I'm fine actually just waiting here. So if they just go to remove this, I can just draw 3 then. I'm going to go to 7 here. That's Fateful Ascent. Drawn response. So very glad I didn't go for the Glimmervale Lake. Trying to find the counters here. Okay, we found 3 lands off of that. That's fine. That's fodder to pitch to Shigani Manor Burns. This is down. We get a chart token. We take 2 down to 7. They just draw and pass. I'm going to burn a treasure here to crack the chart. Top cards on stack until type land. That's just going to be a Meteoric Facade. That's really nice. Untap. Draw Unravel Thoughts. So these all go up by 1. We're going to make 2 treasures. With this, we will go ahead and discard the Primal Fisher, flip the top 2. That's Flutter and Primal Fisher. I'm just going to shuffle my graveyard now. Move this to top of library and shuffle. Play islands as land for turn. Pass. And I think we just got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Deal 3 to you. I will draw 1, 2, discard Temple of Origins. Put this here. Untap. Draw. Card counters. Add counter. So this stings them for 2. Set these counters to 0. This has been such a grind, folks. My goodness. I think we're going to go ahead and pitch Mountain to this first one. Flip Thought Scour Dream Physician. And Meteoric Facade to this second one. Overrule Will, Psionic Sage. That, I think, is going to be Curtains. So we're going to cast Thought Scour, target them, move the Dream Physician to exile. Oh, they accidentally drew a card. So we milled Unstable Experimentation, Misty Peak. Oh, they might be stuck with Unstable Experimentations in hand as well. Yeah, that might be pretty awkward. One, 2, 3, 4. Move to table. Oh wait, no, I just need to unattach this. See how they feel about this. Oh, there's a little bit of lag. Oh, wait, no, there's not. Just confirming. If I kill in response to the ETB, do you get to cast the spell? Because the trigger sees no spells exiled with it at that point. I think so, but we can flag a judge if you need to. So we'll see if we want to flag a judge here. We're getting down to the wire here, so. It's annoying because my chances of victory are so slim, but like hard to call them 0. All right, yeah, I'm going to pause while we call a judge. All right, we have gotten a judge ruling. It does work how I want it to. It would still count that the card it exiles is the first thing it's exiled and would let me free cast the Thought Scour here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, they're targeting themselves both times. All right. That was a very, very, very long match, but we did cross the finish line there. Here I am in the deck tech videos saying, I don't think Flutter targeting yourself is going to come up all that often. But no, it really does just result in giving you so much more time. And they say if they'd drawn the other manner fast enough, we were in theory dead. Yeah. It's part of why I was trying to bleed them out of their hard counters, so that way I could try and find hard counters and guarantee I can pick off the Shigani Manor Burns on the stack. And Unravel Thoughts getting to bounce things is really nice as well, so I can bounce a Shigani Manor Burns before it gets to Chapter 3. But yeah, wow, that was quite the match. I have a feeling some curators are going to be pretty upset by the fact that Flutter gets to do Elixir of Immortality things, but I don't know, that felt pretty fun. So, that is going to wrap it up for round 2 here. We are 2-0, but neither of those rounds were exactly scot-free. We had to really brawl for both of these wins. So, we'll see how the next rounds go, but we do still have to get one more win in order to guarantee a spot in the top cut. We'll see how things land, if we can make it into the top cut cleanly or not. I'll keep you all posted on that as we get there. Until then, until round 3, I will see you all in the Revolution chat. Bye-bye.